everybody, welcome to Christian Homestead. My name is Jared. Today is a good day. I don't know if you were watching this last night. I almost stayed up all night. But I did have to go to sleep, and today we have some stuff that we're doing. So I just want to do just a quick video just to touch on the fact that it seems that this war is over. This war that started on October 7th, 2023. I tend to think that it was a very, very significant war. It obviously was. It led to the 12-day war between Israel and Iran. But yesterday you had President Donald Trump who said that the war is over. And as of right now, we have the 20 living hostages that have been released. What does it say here? Israeli officials say the remains of 28 slain hostages are still in Gaza. So there's still that part. But what good news it is that the 20 that are alive have been released. That I can't imagine what kind of ordeal that must have been to be in captivity for 2 years. And I don't know the conditions. I haven't looked into it that much, but they couldn't have been very good. I just, this whole thing from beginning to end has been pretty surreal. And not that I'm pessimistic, but I was kind of cautiously optimistic about this actually happening. I felt like there was a very real chance that Hamas would not give up all the hostages. I don't know about you. Let me know in the comments below how you perceive this whole thing. But they actually did it. And so, you know, it's just, I don't know what to think at this point. I hope that from here on out we have peace. Of course, we know prophecy from the scripture that at some point there is going to be the war before the millennium, Gog and Magog with its different battles, Armageddon, as well as the siege on Jerusalem. So we'll have to see how things play out. Let's see. I thought it was interesting last night that it started with the release of 7 hostages. I don't know if that was intentional, if for some reason, if Hamas is familiar with Judaism and how important 7 is, or probably not, but I don't know. They started with 7. It's just kind of interesting. It's also interesting, just as a quick reminder, let's go to my spreadsheet called Timeline Second Coming. I'm going to zoom in here. Oh, I don't have this on the spreadsheet. Oh my gosh, I have so much work I got to do, you guys. I'm just nonstop between these two channels, Christian Homestead and Explore Church Sites. It's just nonstop. I have so much work to do. I was going to point out, it's so interesting that President Nelson's funeral was on October 7th. It was on the 2-year anniversary of when this war started. And that he died 7 days before General Conference. And this war coming to an end comes at this transition point between President Nelson and President Oaks. And on President Nelson's 101st birthday, it seems like that was the day of potentially the key event of Israel striking Qatar that maybe led to this on his birthday. And then I don't know, I don't know what to say other than I don't think that it's coincidence. It's just like what President Holland said, Elder Holland at the moment. It's like what Elder Holland said in General Conference in talking about the way that the Lord works. You know, sometimes we don't know exactly what's going on or all the pieces. We just know that we're seeing something, even though we don't fully grasp it. And I feel like this is definitely one of those times. So yeah, you have all these different live update news blogs that are going on right now. It says Trump delivered remarks in the Israeli Knesset. I haven't had a chance to look at that. I just barely woke up just a little while ago. I did do that video a little while ago about the scripture. I can't even remember. I think it's from Thessalonians. The scripture that talks about when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh. And I feel like that's a very real possibility for this. Things may seem really good today, but yeah, I wouldn't say that now suddenly the region is stable. You know, even if we perceived that it was stable, there's always these things that just can come out of nowhere that you don't even expect, such as October 7th, 2023, when this all started. Nobody was expecting this. I know I keep referring to this when we're talking about this topic, but I clearly remember before the war started, people, political experts talking about Hamas and saying how no, they don't want war. They want to maintain power, and so they can't risk going to war with Israel because they're too concerned about maintaining their control over the Gaza Strip. And I know that that was like a good, educated opinion. I'm not saying that they were like dumb, but I'm just trying to point out that even though we may think we know how things are going to go and we have a good grasp on a situation, doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen or that our predictions are correct. So just keep that in mind. We know the times in which we live, and there's been so many strange things going on, especially since September. I now officially feel like this has been a very strange and interesting year. If we go back, let's just remind ourselves. May 14th on our calendar, May 14th was Israel's 77th birthday. I feel like not many people, when I made that video, not many people really cared about it or even watched that video, but I felt like it was pretty significant. And I don't know, this is the year that the war is ending, or maybe this is the next phase of something else that leads to Gog and Magog in the Battle of Armageddon. By the way, before I continue, there's always people, I already know it, there's always people that are like, no, Gog and Magog does not come until after the millennium. It's both. There's two Gog and Magogs. Go to the Bible dictionary or go look at one of the Institute student manuals on the church website. There's two Gog and Magogs. I'm referring to the one before the millennium, which is the overall war, and then it has the individual battles of Armageddon in the siege of Jerusalem. So it was Israel's 77th birthday. Let's see. Oh yeah, I don't know, not that this directly relates, but just as we think about President Nelson having passed away, we had Pope Francis that passed away this year. And then the very beginning of the year, I feel like this was a Jewish related thing. We had these crazy fires in the Los Angeles area, and they affected areas where there was a relatively large Jewish population, specifically Pacific Palisades. I don't know if I have it here, but I had it noted somewhere, probably on my, I'm trying to think, on Signs Jewish Specific, that there was like a Jewish synagogue. It was called like the Jewish Temple of Pacific Palisades or something like that was burned down. I was saying back then, like, oh, this is interesting that it's affecting these areas, and it's Israel's 77th birthday this year. So those are a couple things I want to point out. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Sorry, I'm just kind of like doing this on the fly. I would appreciate your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Yeah, we had some crazy stuff going on here in Independence that I was here to witness. Yeah, part of the 12-day war, we had the United States Air Force that flew B-2 bombers from Missouri to Iran as part of that war, the 12-day war. It's the first time that Israel and Iran had officially been at war with each other. It's called the 12-day war. Yeah. So let's keep an eye on this and see how things develop. I would not assume that things are just over and everything's hunky-dory now. Just, I don't know. I feel like the situation is still pretty complicated, and things can flare up. Like you think about, for example, Syria. Maybe people are feeling better about it now, but I feel like Syria is still kind of a wild card. You also have this weird thing going on between Pakistan and Afghanistan. There's been like a skirmish between those two countries lately. I think things have died down, but there was also, I think it was earlier this year, there was this thing going on between Pakistan and India, although I think that's kind of died down, but it was a pretty significant flare up. Who knows what Iran is going to do as they, I guess, try and rebuild. I haven't seen too much in the news about Iran, but the point is that we live in a very complicated world, and these are very complex systems. And even for the most educated people out there, I think it's hard to predict exactly what's going to happen. But when you look at the big picture, you look at 2025 and everything that's going on, it seems like it's been a pretty significant year. There was somebody that pointed out something that President Hinckley said about the year 2025, or actually, I think I came across like an old video on YouTube. I'm going to look at that and see what he said, and then let's also point out that this is the 30-year anniversary of the Family Proclamation. Just a lot of things coinciding this year, but especially these last couple months. So anyway, that's all that I have for this one. I'll talk to you guys later.